There is a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot touch. You know this tiredness. It lives in the chest, in the shoulders that won't quite drop, in the mind that keeps searching for the next thing to fix or solve or become. This tiredness comes from trying so hard to earn love, to prove worthiness, to keep all the pieces of life moving in perfect formation. And somewhere beneath that exhaustion, beneath all the striving and the noise, there is a question your heart has been whispering. What if love doesn't require all this effort? What if the very thing you've been searching for is waiting in the one place you haven't thought to look, in the stillness you've been too afraid to enter? Stillness. Even the word might make you uncomfortable. It can feel like giving up, like falling behind, like wasting precious time when there is so much to do and so much to heal. But stillness is not emptiness. It is not the absence of life or love or progress. Stillness is the ground beneath all the movement, the space where love has been resting all along, patient and undemanding, waiting for you to remember that you don't have to chase it anymore. Stillness is where your heart can finally exhale, and in that exhale, something ancient and true begins to stir. Love begins to teach you again, not through words or lessons, but through the simple, profound act of being present with yourself. We learn to rush so early that we forgot we ever knew another way. Somewhere in childhood, the message arrived, spoken or unspoken, that love is conditional, that it must be earned through achievement or goodness or perpetual motion. You learned that stillness was laziness, that pausing meant falling behind, that your value was measured by how much you could produce, how much you could give, how little you could need. The world taught you to equate love with doing, and so you did. You did and did and did until doing became your identity, until the thought of stopping felt like disappearing. And in all that doing, something quieter got lost. Your natural rhythm, the one you were born with, got buried under deadlines and expectations and the relentless pressure to keep up. You stopped noticing the way your body asked for rest. You stopped hearing the small voice inside that wanted to slow down, to sit by the window, to feel the sun on your skin without turning it into a task. You began to rush through joy because there was always something else waiting, something more urgent, something that seemed more important than the present moment. Love became something to achieve in the future rather than something to experience right now. And the cost of all this rushing was intimacy, intimacy with yourself, with your own heart, with the quiet knowing that lives beneath the noise. When you learned to rush, you also learned to mistrust stillness. You came to believe that if you stopped moving, stopped producing, stopped proving, then love would withdraw. You thought that your worthiness depended on your momentum, that the moment you paused, you would be forgotten or deemed insufficient. So you filled every silence with sound, every empty space with activity, every moment of potential rest with one more thing to do. And all the while your body, the wise, patient body, kept trying to slow you down. It sent you signals, the tight jaw, the shallow breath, the exhaustion that wouldn't lift, the feeling of being disconnected from yourself. But you learned to override those signals. You learned to push through, to keep going, to treat your own needs as inconvenient interruptions in the larger project of earning your place in the world. What you didn't know then, what perhaps you're only beginning to sense now, is that your body has been holding love for you all this time. Not the conditional love you learned to chase, but the unconditional love that simply is. the love that doesn't require you to be different or better or more. Your body has been the faithful keeper of this truth, waiting for the day you would slow down enough to feel it. Every heartbeat has been an act of love. Every breath has been a gift. Every cell has been working on your behalf without asking for applause or recognition. Your body has never stopped loving you, even when you abandoned it in the pursuit of external validation, even when you ignored its wisdom in favor of the mind's anxious demands. Stillness is the bridge back to this love. When you pause, when you soften, when you let yourself arrive fully in this moment without agenda or goal, you give your body permission to speak. And what it says is simple. You are here. You are alive. You are enough exactly as you are. In stillness, you can feel the places where you've been holding tension, the places where old fear has been living in your muscles and your bones. You can sense the gentle invitation your body has been extending all along, the invitation to come home, to rest, to stop abandoning yourself in the name of productivity or perfection. This is not a metaphor. This is literal. Your body knows things your mind has forgotten. It knows how to soften. It knows how to receive. It knows how to love without condition. And stillness is the language it speaks. But stillness is not the same as silence. You can sit in perfect silence and still be far from still. You can stop all external noise and still have a mind that races, a body that braces, a heart that guards. Silence is the absence of sound. Stillness is the presence of you. Stillness is what happens when you stop running from yourself, when you stop trying to escape the present moment, when you finally allow yourself to be exactly where you are without wishing you were somewhere else. Stillness is an active state of being. It is conscious presence. It is the choice to meet yourself with tenderness rather than judgment, with curiosity rather than criticism, with love rather than the demand that you be anything other than what you are right now. In stillness, you're not waiting for something to happen. You're not preparing for the next moment or rehearsing the last one. You are here. And here is where love lives. Not in the future when you've finally healed all your wounds or achieved all your goals. Not in the past when things were different or easier or more innocent. Here, now, in the body you inhabit, in the breath moving through you, in the aliveness that pulses beneath all your stories about who you should be. Stillness teaches you that this moment, exactly as it is enough. That you, exactly as you are enough. And this teaching doesn't come through words. It comes through experience. It comes through the softening that happens when you stop fighting reality. It comes through the quiet recognition that you don't have to earn your right to exist, to rest, to be loved. When you first enter stillness, you may not like what you find there. This is important to know, important to expect, so you don't turn away when it happens. Stillness is honest. It doesn't hide things from you. When you stop distracting yourself, when you stop filling every moment with noise and motion and tasks, you may discover that there is pain waiting underneath. Old grief, unprocessed fear, the ache of years spent abandoning yourself. The walls you built around your heart begin to tremble in stillness because they were constructed in motion, reinforced by constant doing. When you finally stop this, walls don't know what to do. They start to crack, and what lies behind them starts to surface. This is not something to fear. This is exactly what needs to happen. The pain you've been carrying doesn't need you to fix it or analyze it or make it go away. It needs you to feel it. It needs you to be present with it. It needs the compassion that can only come when you stop running. Stillness gives you the courage to turn toward what hurts instead of away from it. And in that turning toward, something miraculous occurs. The pain begins to move. It begins to release, not because you did anything to it, but because you finally gave it space to be seen, to be held, to be met with love instead of resistance. This is how stillness dissolves the walls we built, not through force, not through positive thinking or affirmations alone, but through presence, through the willingness to be with ourselves in our wholeness, the light and the shadow, the healed and the healing, the strong and the tender. Every wall you constructed had a reason. It protected you when you needed protection. It kept you safe when the world felt dangerous. But now, in stillness, you can begin to ask, do I still need this wall? Is it protecting me or imprisoning me? And the wall itself will answer if you listen. It will tell you when it's ready to soften, when it's safe to let love in again, when you can trust yourself to stay present even when things feel vulnerable or uncertain. Love has a language that exists before and beyond words. You learned this as an infant before language arrived, when love was communicated through touch and tone and presence. You knew when you were held with care. You knew when you were seen. You knew when you were safe. This knowing didn't come from what anyone said. It came from what you felt. And then language came, and with it came the complications, the explanations and the justifications and the stories about what love should look like, what it should feel like, how it should be expressed. You began to trust words more than sensation, thinking more than feeling, external validation more than internal knowing. And gradually you lost fluency in love's first language, the language of the body, of energy, of quiet resonance. Stillness is how you remember this language. When you pause, when you breathe, when you bring your awareness into your body, you begin to hear love speaking again in its original voice. It speaks through the warmth in your chest when you think a gentle thought toward yourself. It speaks through the release in your shoulders when you finally let yourself rest. It speaks through the softness that comes when you stop demanding that this moment be different. This language doesn't translate easily into words because it's not meant to. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be known in the body, in the bones, in the quiet cells that have been loving you all along without fanfare or condition. When you attune yourself to this frequency, when you practice stillness enough that it becomes familiar instead of foreign, you start to notice love everywhere. Not the dramatic, cinematic love that culture sold you, but the steady, quiet, ever-present love that moves through everything. You notice it in the way your body repairs itself while you sleep. You notice it in the way the breath keeps breathing you even when you forget to pay attention. You notice it in the way life keeps showing up, keeps offering itself, keeps inviting you back into relationship with the present moment. This is not a small thing. This is the reorientation of your entire being. You stop searching for love outside yourself and start recognizing it as the very ground of your existence. But recognition is not enough. You must also practice. You must invite stillness into your life, not as a concept, but as a companion, not as a distant goal, but as a daily choice. And this doesn't require hours of meditation or perfect conditions or a quiet retreat in the mountains, though those things can be beautiful when they're available. Stillness can happen in 30 seconds. It can happen in the space between tasks, in the moment before you speak, in the pause before you react. It can happen when you're washing dishes if you bring your full attention to the warmth of the water, the sensation in your hands, the simple act of cleaning. It can happen when you're waiting in line. If instead of reaching for your phone, you simply breathe and notice what it feels like to be in your body in that moment. The practice is simple. Pause, breathe, soften, notice. Pause whatever momentum you're carrying. Breathe more deeply than the shallow sips you've been taking. Soften the places that have tightened, the jaw, the belly, the space between your eyebrows. Notice what's actually here right now, not what you think should be here or wish were here, but what is. This is how you let stillness lead. You give it small openings throughout your day. You stop treating rest as something you have to earn and start treating it as something you're allowed to receive. You begin to understand that stillness is not a luxury or an indulgence. It's the soil in which everything else grows. Without it, your love becomes exhausted. Your creativity becomes forced. Your generosity becomes depletion. But with it, everything begins to flow from a different source, a deeper source, a source that doesn't run dry because it's connected to something infinite. And as you practice, as you return again and again to stillness, you may notice something unexpected. Stillness begins to show you what love is not. This can be uncomfortable. It can challenge everything you thought you knew, because in stillness, you start to feel the difference between real love and the imitations you've been accepting. You start to notice that the frantic urgency you called passion might actually be anxiety, that the constant giving you called generosity might actually be a fear of being seen as selfish, that the perfectionism you called standards might actually be a deep belief that you're not acceptable as you are. Stillness is a truth teller. It doesn't judge these patterns, but it also doesn't let you hide from them. It shows you with great gentleness where you've been betraying yourself in the name of love, where you've been tolerating less than you deserve, where you've been performing love instead of feeling it. This revelation is itself an act of compassion, because once you see these patterns, once stillness illuminates them, you can begin to choose differently. You can start to ask, what would it feel like to love without urgency? What would it feel like to give from fullness instead of emptiness? What would it feel like to accept myself exactly as I am right now, without the project of self-improvement hanging over me like a debt? These questions don't have immediate answers. They unfold slowly, in their own time, as you continue to practice presence. But the questions themselves are transformative. They crack open the old structures. They make space for something new to emerge. And what emerges is not loud or dramatic. Love's return is quiet. It comes in layers, like spring arriving after a long winter, not all at once, but in small signs and subtle shifts. One day you notice that you spoke to yourself more gently when you made a mistake. Another day you realize you said no to something that would have drained you, and you didn't feel guilty about it. Another day you catch yourself smiling at nothing in particular, just feeling grateful to be alive. These moments are easy to overlook if you're expecting something grand, if you're waiting for the cinematic breakthrough where everything changes at once. But love doesn't work that way. Love is patient. Love is gradual. Love trusts the process of unfolding. Stillness teaches you to trust this process too. It teaches you that healing is not linear, that some days you will feel open and connected, and other days you will feel closed and distant, and both are part of the journey. It teaches you that there is no destination, no final arrival point. where you'll have it all figured out and never struggle again. There is only this moment, and then this one, and then this one. And in each moment, you have a choice. Will you meet yourself with harshness or kindness? Will you demand perfection or allow humanity? Will you rush through or pause and breathe? Each choice matters. Each choice shapes the relationship you have with yourself, and that relationship is the foundation of everything else. As the layers peel away, as stillness continues to work its gentle magic, you begin to remember something you knew before you learned to doubt it. You begin to remember that you are love. Not that you have love, or can earn love, or must become worthy of love, but that you are, in your very essence, made of love. This is not a metaphor or a spiritual platitude. This is the truth that your body has been holding, that your heart has been protecting, that the deepest part of you has never forgotten, even when your mind was convinced otherwise. You are the love you've been seeking. You are the acceptance you've been craving. You are the home you've been trying to find. And when you know this, when you feel this in your bones and your breath and your blood, everything changes. Not because your circumstances suddenly align or your problems disappear or other people finally see your worth. Everything changes because you stop abandoning yourself. You stop waiting for external permission to rest, to be, to take up space. You stop measuring your value by what you produce or how much you please others. You start to live from the inside out, from the love that was always there, from the stillness that has been holding you all along. This doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again, or never struggle, or never doubt. It means you'll have a place to return to when those feelings arise. You'll have the stillness, the ground, the home inside yourself that remains steady even when everything else is uncertain. You'll know how to pause and breathe and soften. You'll know how to meet yourself with compassion instead of criticism. You'll know that love is not something you have to chase or earn or prove. It's something you already are, something you've always been, something that never left even when you couldn't feel it. So let stillness teach you. Let it show you what your body has been trying to say. Let it reveal the walls that are ready to soften and the pain that is ready to move. Let it remind you of love's first language, the one that speaks through sensation and presence and the simple miracle of being alive. Let it guide you back to yourself again and again until coming home is no longer an event but a way of being. You don't have to do this perfectly. You don't have to master stillness or achieve some enlightened state. You only have to begin. You only have to pause right now and take one conscious breath. You only have to soften one place that has been tight. You only have to offer yourself one moment of gentle presence. That's all it takes, one moment, and then another, and then another. This is how love returns. This is how you remember. This is how stillness becomes your teacher, your companion, your way back to the truth that was never actually lost, only forgotten beneath the noise and the rushing and the endless trying. You are loved, you are love, and you are worthy of your own tender presence, exactly as you are in this moment, with nothing to prove and nowhere else to be. Let yourself rest in that knowing. Let yourself be held by it. Let yourself finally, blessedly come home